everyone. Welcome to Hard Knock Hawks. I'm Anthony, along with Chris, Leon, and Marco. This is the podcast where we like to talk about the machinations of our favorite basketball team, the Atlanta Hawks. This episode is going to be a little different today because while we are going to talk about the recent stretch of games, which are the 4 wins against Minnesota, Chicago, Miami, and Toronto, we are also going to be talking about what progress the Hawks have done during these last 33 games as a special retrospective episode during the last podcast of 2024 we're doing this year. So before we start, I'm going to get into some stats first. The Hawks are currently the fifth seed in the East with the 12th ranked offense and the 16th ranked defense, according to Clean the Glass. Now, I would like to mention a few big landmarks this season that the team has made before we get into our discussion. This is the first time the Atlanta Hawks have had a winning December in the entirety of the Trae Young era, not including the Eastern Conference final season, because that season we started the season in December because the NBA had the bubble and stuff. And for the first time in 2 years, the Hawks have been 3 games above 500. So this is a pretty big milestone for the team. Leon, you said this stretch would determine what you think. I mean, you excuse me, you thought that this stretch of games would determine what it would say about this team. So, how do you think the team has managed this stretch, and what do you think it? What are your feelings about how this team is going to be looking like going forward?
I mean, the guys just keep making plays, man. I can't ask for anything more. Trey looks great as of late. Jalen scored 30 and he understands it now. Um, Dre is just still doing it. I don't know how he's still doing it, but he's still doing it. Um, Dyson's going to make an all defensive team and might have 2 All-Stars. How they did it was going to the rim like they've been doing all season and sticking with it no matter what. And now they're starting to hit a couple threes here and there. So winter's here, and I don't know what else you expected. What about you, Chris? What you think?
Yeah, no, the Hawks are playing really good basketball right now. They weathered the storm early in the season. They had some injuries, and the guys came back, and it took a little while for them to really get acclimated. And Quinn kind of stuck with it and let them play through it, and they're reaping the benefits. They're playing really good basketball. Dre shooting lights out. Jalen is playing really aggressively. Trey is recognized. The defenses are thrown at them, I think, quicker and quicker. The timing is there. Offensively, they're moving the ball. There were some signs that they were going to play some good ball eventually, right? I think their shot quality has been near the top of the league all season. And early on, there were some defensive rating stats that came out that they have one of the best starting lineups. Defensively, I think they were top 5 with that Zach, Dyson, Clint, Trey group, and Jalen obviously as well. I think that was the one without Zach. But either way, there were some signs right on the peripherals that this team was playing better basketball than the record showed early. And when they got healthy, they got one of their really important scorers back, and you see them able to win some of these games. I think they just couldn't score enough for a little while and shoot enough. They didn't have enough 6-7s to really get through full 48, but now they have the length to throw at teams to really give them issues defensively. Beat is getting comfortable. You got Keaton Wallace who's been playing some important minutes for you. The Garrison Matthews shooting the lights out. So yeah, it's been a full team effort. Landry put a nice group together, and yeah, it's kind of coming together right now, and you're kind of seeing what the vision is, I think, right now. So yeah, it's been really, really good to see.
Yeah, it's like Chris said, Hawks playing good ball right now. We look so different from start of the season compared to now, but you always saw the vision from the start of the season. You just had a unhealthy start to the season, literally. So Landry, a lot of people were slandering Landry for what he was doing. A lot of people were wondering where the next 20-point score per game was going to come from after we traded DJ. But as you turned one into two, you got two 20-point scores from DJ. So, well, from DJ's departure. So hey, you got that. It's nice to see that our offensive ranking is going up. I can't remember what it was at the beginning of the season, but I can tell you it wasn't 12th. So it's nice to see that the offense is finally picking up. It was something on B-ball index earlier that we're finally like trending up on that as well. So that's nice. We've always said in the past that the Hawks can just become a top 20, top 15 defense, then they're a legit, you know, a real basketball team. And it's nice to see that we're finally treading in that area. Even with our rookie's been these last 4 games, he's been picking it up nice. He's been trying to get to the rack, to get himself going. That's the easiest way to get yourself going. Just see the ball go in through the hoop. So I'm happy with the basketball that the Hawks are playing right now. Got to give Landry his credit for the team he's building right now. Even you put a bunch of tall guys around Trey that can run, dunk, shoot, defend. That's an easy championship. Well, easy recipe to success that will lead to a championship. Got to take the steps to success. So yeah, happy with how the Hawks are playing right now.
Yeah, I 100% agree with everyone here. Like, I think if there was just one word to describe like this whole stretch of the season so far, it probably would be resilience. I think the Hawks have managed to just, despite all the struggles, all the injuries that they faced, they managed to just survive and just keep fighting. And like you said, Leon, they just keep working at things over and over and over again. And like when you see comebacks like against the Bulls, where it just like 5 or 6 minutes, they just managed to go up and just score and just come back down double digits. Like it's stuff like that that you don't see often from teams, and you're just building something here that like is able to just hopefully survive for like the rest of the season and can maybe even go further in the playoffs, I think. And I think what we're eventually gonna see is that hope dang, where am I going with this? I think eventually what we're gonna see is that hopefully this season is gonna be the start of the Hawks eventually trying to build themselves into more of an actual contender, because I think the Hawks have proven themselves that they can really compete with some of the big dogs in the East and the hopefully in the West in the coming days with this Western road trip. But I want to do ask you guys about like more about this defense that they've been playing since. For me, like the defense has been one of the biggest storylines of this season so far. Did you guys expect the defense to be the biggest point of the Hawks this season so far? I'll start with you, Marco.
The defense, I'm not going to sit here and say I expected us to have this good of a defense, but I did expect us to have a better defense than last season. That doesn't mean much from the saying point, but I did expect us to have a better defense because Jalen was a top 10 wing stopper last year, so I already knew his defense was coming. We added Dyson. He was already a top 3 point of attack defender. Hawks always needed a point of attack defender. Risa coming in, he was labeled a 3-and-D wing, so I've always said if his defense is like legit, I didn't think his defense would be this legit as it is this early on, but I always knew his defense would help. But his defense being this legit early on is definitely helping the team as a whole. So now you have three defensive pieces, well, even four, because Clint is still a solid rim protector, not like how he was in 21, but he still is a solid rim protector. So you have four defensive minded people in the lineup. Even Trey has stepped it up. Two-way Trey is back again. He actually is like stripping the ball from people on layups. If they dribble the ball too much in front of him, he's actually reaching for the steals and stuff now. So seeing the defense as a whole is actually nice, and getting more defensive pieces to help other guys like Hunter not be the primary defender anymore is also helping. You can actually utilize Hunter in his team defense and stuff like that. So it's nice. Like I said, it's nice. I'm not used to us having this good of a defense since 2016, so it's weird and nice at the same time to see us actually play solid defense.
What do you think, Leon?
I mean, I thought that Ricochet specifically would need to be a good defender for us to be the kind of defense that we are right now. But I was expecting us to at least be top 20, but to almost be in the top half of the league, to really be on the cusp of being at least above average on defense. I think we really are actually when we were semi healthy. Because early on, obviously, it was bad on defense, mainly because of the injuries. But when you have all three of your wings, you can defend. That's the way the roster's built right now, especially if you have Dyson. But I mean, the wings are really doing a good job. Zach can't really guard guys too much bigger than him yet, but that'll take time. He can still stay with a guard. He blocks shots. We get seen Dre get blocks lately. It's wild. And obviously Jalen is a monster on defense. We still got some stuff to clean up though. And if Trey can stay, man, the sky's the limit for this team. What do you think, Chris? I don't want to get too
Hyped up,
too ahead of myself. Yeah, I don't want to get too ahead of myself here.
Well, yeah. To answer your question, before the season, the defense was the one thing I knew they had improved. You bring in Dyson Daniels, who's top 5 POA defender last year, and less minutes, and you keep the group you had, and Jalen, Dre, Clint, Onyeka. Then you add Ricochet. You got a lot taller, right? I think the Hawks added a full inch to their height in the offseason, right? So they intentionally got longer on the wings. You've got Zach now, who you're deploying for 24 plus minutes a game. That's another guy, 6'9", who's comfortable defending out on the perimeter. You didn't have last year at all. You really, really improved your defensive infrastructure. Really, the only thing holding them back is that they're young, still getting experience and working together. It's a solid group coming together. I think they have the defensive infrastructure and the tools to really play sound defense moving forward. They're aggressive. They are I mentioned this in the last pod, but like sharks smelling the blood, man. They're out there hunting for the ball. Dyson might have been the catalyst, but I think they all have bought in defensively and they're committed to that style, right? And create more possessions, go out and run. It's fun for one to get in transition. So I think they know that's how they have to play to win, and yeah, they're getting it done. It's great to see the guys really committed to play physical and fast on defense.
Yeah, like I think one of the best examples is the Raptors game we just had, even without Dyson, who is probably the defensive player of the year for the Hawks. They managed to get 22 steals and applied like all this ball pressure on the Raptors on forwards, and it was just an incredibly impressive performance because even without like their most important defensive player, they were still able to stick to their defensive principles and like what they know, and were able to just basically dominate for so much of the game, especially like during that first portion where they were just turning over the Raptors like almost, I think, 8 times during that game. If y'all want to correct me, you can, but I think it was 7 or 8 times. But that stuff like that just shows you that they are really just building a more solid defensive framework here that I think can just, like I said earlier, like just can just they could just build up something for them to potentially be a contender in the future, especially with a small guard like Trey Young, who people said for like years that, oh, you can't build a defense with Trey Young. It's impossible because Trey Young can't defend. It's too hard to find like players to do that. And yeah, while it is kind of difficult to find certain players and stuff, like I think the Hawks have managed to find like a good amount of players and managed to make like the right decisions with sticking with their gut to just with the players that they did have to find like the right formulas and stuff to produce the results they're seeing so far. But I do want to talk about an interesting thing that's been going on for these last few games, and despite the 4 game win streak, there have been several rotations where they've been playing um they've been playing without Trey and Jalen in them. And when you look at the net ratings of them, they haven't necessarily been great, but it's a question as to like, why Quinn is doing this. Do you think it's necessarily a good thing for a team, a bad thing for a team? So I'll start with you, Chris. Why do you think Quinn is doing this?
Ball handling. Jalen is still kind of developing his half court game. I think he's great in the open floor, but it's not something you can control 100% of the time. You're going to end up in the half court, and I think it's important, especially with that bogey out there, that they play guys that can get the ball up the floor. Teams are going to pressure you if you don't have ball handlers out there. And with Dre and Jalen, you have two guys who you need to score, but they both are going to need some assistance. And it just helps a little bit to have beat and maybe some of the more connective guys out there with Dre. He's kind of doing his thing. And then Trey and Jalen are so good together. You really do just want to play them together as much as possible. But yeah, as Jalen develops as a half court threat, I think you might see him out there with Trey or without Trey more. But yeah, for now, I think it's just leaning on ball handlers. Yeah.
Basically, the reason that I believe that he's doing it, that Quinn is doing it, is because the non-Jalen Trey minutes and the non-Trey. Wow, so embarrassing. The
It's
the
okay.
non-Jalen Trey minutes, both of those minutes aren't great. So I believe what they're trying to do is just lean into what's working when they're when they're both on the floor. And what's really going on is Dre is carrying those those minutes. You just want to survive in those minutes because you're gonna be so good when Trey and Jalen are on the floor. You just got all these ball handlers, Garrison Matthews and DeAndre Hunter. It's the best I can do. What about you, Marco?
Can you ask the question one more time so I can make sure I got my answer right before I say this?
I was asking, why do you think Quinn is, instead of just doing the segmenting Trey's and Jalen's minutes, he's just taking Trey and Jalen out at the same time? Why do you think Quinn is doing that now?
I guess I did hear you right. Yeah, it's like Chris said. Jalen is still working on his half court game, so you can't really. I don't want to say you can't trust him as the second. Like, I don't know how to formulate this. I don't think you can fully trust him yet running the bench unit by himself, but is as Leon said, you want to survive the non-Trey minutes, and that's when Dre comes in. It's also a thing of you're trying to keep your guys healthy because in that fourth quarter you're going to need to play Trey and Jalen a lot more than you probably want to, simply because you don't have a backup point guard right now, and Dre can't do all the bench scoring by himself. Yada yada yada. So you really just want to preserve those guys, and like Leon said, you just gotta hope you can stay alive during the non-Trey minutes. Because even with a few games in this current streak, we would go on big runs with the starters, all in the first quarter. By the way, we go on big runs with the starters, and then we sit Trey and Jalen, a full bench unit with Dre, Gary, whoever else, blah blah blah. And now the other team is coming back. Quinn is immediately calling Trey or Jalen back in at that point because again, you got to try to survive those minutes. You can't give up a lead. So yeah, that that's my answer on that. I feel.
If let's say if Quinn decides to just continue this for the rest of the season, do you think it's gonna be more pertinent to the Hawks to just try and get like an actual backup point guard for the second unit, or do you think they're just gonna stick with someone like Keen Wallace or V Karechi in the future? Because to me, honestly, I think they probably should just get a backup point guard then to just try and run the offense. What you're about to respond, Marco? Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's kind of a yes and a no answer, I guess. As we've seen reports, like what Mark Stein, not Mark Stein, Brett Siegel or whatever, he said we were interested in Javon Carter and a lot of other sources like ESPN. Damn, I can't think of his name. Yeah, ESPN, a couple others also say we're like in the market for a backup point guard. I think you still need to guard a backup point guard regardless. It's kind of hard because you need to find a guard that's willing to play in that 12 to 15-minute role because that's most likely all you're going to get on this team. Um, you might could keep running. You might could keep doing what Quinn is doing right now, simply because you don't have Bogey back yet, and Bogey still has some guard skills. He is a point guard for his home team in the Olympics. So I mean, you got Bogey back. You got Dre. You could do it. V you can't play Keaton too much because he has a 50-game limit, and he's already at like 20 games now, I think, or he will be at 20 games soon. So he has a 50-game limit. You don't have an open roster spot. So now you're kind of, just dragging Keaton into a hole if you keep playing him and, you don't have any way to open a roster spot right now. Veet works very much better at the as the connecting two guard instead of main ball handler, as we saw. You could also bring Dyson back as backup point guard when Dyson gets healthy, like he did. Putting Dyson at backup point guard actually helped a lot. And you put Beat at that two guard position where he could be a connector. Then you had Dre, Jalen out there too, so it was easy pickings for that. So you don't necessarily need a backup point guard right now, but I think you should go ahead and get one because you never know what can happen.
I will say that Keen has played 16 games so far this season, so they have a bit of time to decide whether or not to just give Keen an actual NBA contract. Um, I honestly think they probably should just give him a contract because I think he's probably earned it because he's playing like a good backup second good backup point guard shooting guard in my opinion as a third guard. So I think should just give it to him anyway, especially since Cody Zeller is about to probably get traded or waived soon in hopefully a few months. What do you think, Leon?
Well, on the Cody Zeller front, he might be time for him to suit up.
I don't know.
Probably not.
Yeah,
probably not. But as far as the backup point guard thing is concerned, one of my favorite things is continuing to try to put Dyson there a little bit. Obviously, you want him on the floor with Trey as much as possible, but the last thing is when it comes to Bogey, right? Obviously, the Trey Bogey minutes are great, but Trey is the point guard. So what you really need is that third guard to be a real combo guard. Someone who can run the offense and play next to, ideally, both of them. Right? Your third guard, you want to be able to play with both of your starting guards. And yeah, you do that with Bogey some, but it's not really ideal because he's not really a one. Not how you need him to be anyways. So you could give Keaton a contract, let go of Cody if you wanted to. This season, I would just play it out. Try to find somebody in the off season. I'm really comfortable with the options that you have right now. Anything more than signing Keaton to a real contract, I'm fine with. What about you, Marco?
It's actually my turn, I think.
Yes,
Right,
exactly, Chris.
and I don't really have
I
anything
mean, Marco,
fun.
you could go if you want to again. I mean,
Nah, Chris got that.
I'll
Chris got
go.
that.
It's no, I don't have much fun to say. I personally, I agree, Leon. I wouldn't do anything. I don't think it's that big a deal. It's a few minutes you can kind of patch work together in a non-contending year where you're intentionally trying to see what you have in terms of young players. So I think this is a blessing in disguise deal. You wanted to see what you had in Kobe in that role. Now you get to see what you have in Keaton. Beat gets extended minutes. Garrison Matthews is getting a look right now because Bogey's out. I think you have the necessary pieces to work the minutes behind Trey and Dyson. But I do also agree with Ant in terms of giving Keaton a contract. I like him as a third guard. Uh, Defensively, he's got what you want in terms of just being a pure guard defender. He can't play with Trey, right? So I don't know. I don't think he can be your backup point guard, but your third emergency guard, a guy that literally plays in this exact situation. I think it's perfect for, right? Your combo guy and Kobe got hurt, and so now you have a guy that can't play with Trey, but it's fine because Trey can't play 3 minutes. So when Trey sits, you can bring on Keaton if you really need some defense. If you need some length, you have Beat who can do the job. And yeah, I think between those two, they got it. And then when Dyson is back, you can try to leave him on for a few minutes, right, just to steal a few. But I think I do ideally you want to marry him with Trey and keep those two together. So honestly, I believe in Keaton. I think he's a really nice player, and I think the more he gets to play, I think the confidence will grow, and we'll get to see a bit more from him offensively. But yeah, defensively, he's everything that I really need from that guy, especially with the length we have around the guard position right now. So yeah, I like what we have, and I mean, I wouldn't even press it that hard in the offseason. If you can figure out something, then do it. But I wouldn't sink assets into it. It's Trey's backup, so it's whatever.
let's talk about the injuries that have been happening on this team as of late. The team has more players that have been getting injuries again. We have Larry Nance who injured his right hand, and it is his shooting hand, so he's going to be out for at least a month, as far as we know. And I think that's the only player that's injured. Y'all can correct me that can correct me if I'm wrong. But what do you think about Larry Nance's dang, what's the word I'm looking for? Larry Nance.
Injury?
Oh yeah. Oh, go ahead. Um,
It's really unfortunate that Larry got hurt. Right, he fractured his finger, I think. Right, and he's having surgery. Second time he's fractured it, which I mean makes sense. If he's hurt before, hurt again, prone to re-injury. Those fractures. But no, Nance was a great piece for the Hawks in terms of having a third center. You have two guys who have picked up kind of knick-knack injuries over time. So it was nice having Nance come in and give you 20 minutes and not have to play every game. That guy is giving you the vibes right for one because he doesn't need to play every day, but he comes in, he plays hard, and he's productive. So losing him sucks. Hopefully they don't have another injury. O's back, so that was kind of perfect timing. He might have been a little early, but it is what it is. He's back on the floor. But yeah, now they are one injury from Don Barlow playing like 20 minutes. So let's hope Nance heals up quick and the guys stay healthy.
yeah.
Marco, what do you think?
It sucks that it happened because Nance was like really doing good in the minutes he was getting, and he was providing us, spacing. When Trey is on the floor, he played serviceable minutes. Defense was a little shaky, but his offensive game was definitely was shining and helping. So hopefully he's not out too long. Hopefully he's not missing more than a month of some change. That's all I can really say on it. It sucks that the injury happened, but besides him and Kobe, he's the only one like missing, the other comeback that's missing time. On to you, Leon.
Goodness gracious. He's going to be missed to a degree, but as it has been all season, it's just going to have to be next man up, whoever it is. I wish him the best. I really hope he gets better soon so you can have him for our playoff run, honestly. Great leader and can space the floor for us, especially since we need it with the shooting that we have around, especially with Bogey not being 100%. Man, it's Don Barlow. I hope Clinton 00 stay healthy. That's the best you can do right now. It's going to be an interesting 5-game stretch here as well.
First off, Chris, thank you for basically figuring out what I was trying to say and answering that question about Larry Nance, because I wouldn't have been able to finish that sentence. But yeah, I think Larry Nance is gonna be missed because having a center that can actually space the floor is really impactful, especially because of the offensive struggles that this team had during, especially before we really started getting into this groove that we're having recently. But I am not gonna miss his defense. That's a little harsh, but I think it's gonna be really interesting to see what's gonna happen during these next few games, especially if, let's say, Clint or Onyeka gets injured or gets sick. I don't know if Dominic Barlow is gonna be like NBA ready. Well, he's playing the NBA, but or if his defense is gonna be like actually gonna be capable enough to actually be able to stand up and just be able to like just hold up some of these lineups that we're playing. But I think it's gonna be interesting to just see what's gonna happen in the next few weeks. I am gonna miss Larry Nance and, like you said, Leon, his leadership, but I think we do have the players to like hold it up. And like I said, like this team's very resilient and they've been holding up incredibly well. And speaking of things that have held up incredibly well, let's talk about these predictions about the season that we made. So in the beginning of the year, I asked y'all about your predictions about the season. So basically, I said I think we're gonna be a top 3 seed. Chris said you thought we were gonna be playing. Marco and Leon, you said we were gonna be a top 6 seed. So I'll just ask and go one by one. Do you think the Hawks are gonna either make your prediction come true with the way they're playing right now, or you think you're gonna be completely wrong? I'll start with you, Chris. Go ahead.
Don't think I'm gonna be right or wrong. I mean, they're more or less on pace to be around 500. I think they'll be just on that bubble between 7 and 6, kind of where they are. They're playing good basketball, but they're also probably 2 weeks from everybody being mad on Twitter because it's a young team. They're volatile, but yeah, I mean the vibes are high right now. If they pad their win total right now, they could end up in a really nice spot. So um, we'll see. But yeah, I think they'll be around 41, 42, 43 wins in that 7-6 area. So yeah, I think they'll be close to right.
Let's go to Leon. What do you think about your prediction?
I think right now 43 is my floor. 43 is my floor right now, but before the season started, I said 47. The couple games that we dropped that we certainly should have dropped is basically the difference between 43 and 47. Dre's out, losing to Washington twice, having to play the wonderful David Roddy way too many minutes, losing games. But yeah, Chris has a point. They could very well, go on a little -3 type of stretch, end up right back at 500. It wouldn't surprise me. However, I mean, I think all the teams we're playing are beatable. Like, I don't see, and the funny thing about our road trip is there are some teams that have good rim protection, but there are some teams that don't. And the way we really attack the rim so relentlessly against teams, regardless of if they have a good rim protector or not, because the conversion rate is decent enough, and we're getting to the line again as a team now, 6th overall in free throw rate, and Trey really just started getting those numbers back up. So, I think I'm gonna stick with 47 wins, honestly. What about you, Marco?
I don't have a win projection total. I think it's still kind of hard for me to gauge it right now. This current road trip will let me know. Will give me a clear outlook of what I want to say next time you ask this question. Because we'll probably do a season update by like All-Star break or something.
Man,
But
that's a cop out. That
hey man,
that's a cop
Whoa.
out. Come on, man.
that's crazy.
That's
Why
a
you
cop
attacking me?
out.
Why you
Like,
attacking me on
come
the
on,
pod?
just listen.
Why you
Everyone
attacking me on
else
the
is
pod?
gonna give their answer. Come
Actually,
on.
I don't even
I'll
did
throw a
Chris
little
give
bit.
a win projection?
I'll
No,
throw
I
a
don't.
little bit. I'll throw a little bit more on mine. Okay.
I
Okay,
said
go ahead,
41 to
Lee.
43.
Oh
They have
shit!
absolutely no incentive to lose any games this year. They don't
Yeah,
have their pick.
that's
People say
true.
it doesn't matter. People say it doesn't matter. Blah 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 blah. Blah. Nah,
You do not want that pick to be
you
good
do.
for
At the end of the day, like even if you've mailed it in late in the season, you know, smart coaches drop a couple games when you don't have it. Like, you're really trying to do something this year.
You
Okay,
want that Lakers pick to be higher than yours, yeah.
exactly. Basically, I mean, but
yeah. You want that?
and we're right with them right now.
Yeah. Hopefully the
We're right
Lakers,
there.
give us that. But to answer your question, man, I'm sticking to the top 6 because we're 5th seed right now. This time last year we were like 8th, so it's very positive right now. We'll say that. Yeah, I'm gonna stick to 6th seed. I'm gonna say since I have to give a win total now. I
No, I mean, you
see
don't have
us.
to if you don't
Nah,
want
because
to. I
everybody did
mean,
9. You already got on
okay,
my case
now I
about it,
gotta
so
do
I
one
feel like I
too.
have to do
Dang.
something. I want to go 47, 46 in that range, but 40 mid, we're going to say around that range is realistic. I'm not. We're going to say it's realistic.
All right, your prediction is 45. It's okay, bro. Moving on. What about you, Ant?
Okay.
You're at 40. Like, just take 45. It's right there.
Okay.
He put me on the spot, man. I didn't want to say
Just take
anything.
45, bro. You said mid 40s. Just say
Okay.
45.
You went
I will
last and
say,
still couldn't come up with something there.
why are we attacking me?
Just take the average, bro.
I
Like,
will say, I will
boom,
say, I will say, I will
45.
say, I will say, I will say,
That's how
I
you.
will say,
That's how you do it on.
I will say, I will say, I will say. 4th seed is very much possible for us, and staying there is very much possible for us in these next few
I
weeks.
mean, or look, there are some players in Orlando being reevaluated that I don't know if they're going to be playing anytime soon. So,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
we're 1.5 games behind them, correct? And they play
Yes.
tonight.
They're playing. They're playing. Oh, they played tonight. I think.
They did. I don't
Let me
think
check.
so.
I don't. Yeah, they didn't play
Nah,
tonight.
I missed them.
Oh, they play tomorrow, or
They don't
is
play
it?
tomorrow. They play when we play. If they play the Pistons,
Oh,
they could lose to the Pistons easily.
Yeah, they
It's gonna
can.
be
Yeah.
it's gonna be rough, but they could lose.
yeah.
All right.
But
And
yeah.
what are we? What correct? Was I correct though? 1.5 games, or we half game on? Yep,
Um,
1.5 games. So we could close in on them on
it
Wednesday.
would be nice to get some revenge on the Nuggets this upcoming game.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's. All right. So I said top 3 seed. I
Still
feel
crazy.
like you. Okay. Uh, stop laughing. I feel like personally, despite all my hope and dreams, that dream is 75%, 85% dead. Um,
It was a
I
nonsense dream, man. I'm sorry.
it's not. It was not a. Listen, if they won, let's say if they won against Washington one more time or against the Trailblazers, they could have been there. They could. They it could have. It could. I would be talking different right now, but I feel like we are maybe we'll see what happens during this Western road trip, but I think we're maybe gonna be started at the point to where the Knicks the Knicks may have just padded their lead a little too much to where they're probably not gonna catch up to them. So I think my prediction is probably gonna end up wrong, bar a pretty big run. Now
Probably.
the
rug pull's coming, Tibbs.
Chris, okay.
The rug pull's coming,
Now,
Tibbs.
They would have to win 50 games to get top three seed, bro.
Listen.
I'm just saying.
They've been playing really good. They've been playing good.
You know,
50
I
wins.
feel like we're not attacking him enough like y'all did me. I'm just saying. I feel like
Listen,
I don't think you're going to have to get 50 wins because I can see. Listen,
the East is bad. Sure,
the East is bad.
I mean, that's not.
and
look, we got Tom.
And
we
two,
got Tibbs.
Obviously, I'm on the high end by saying 47. I understand.
And the Knicks have zero depth.
There's gonna be some
That's the
movement
thing.
throughout January.
The Knicks, yeah. The
But
Knicks
like I said,
depth.
the Knicks are playing these guys way too many minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
They were up 20. They were up 20 tonight on the goodness gracious, I don't even know.
The
Wizards.
They won 50 games.
Hey, they're not as deep as they were last year.
There you go.
I mean, they're not as deep as they were last year.
They're just one injury away. One Brunson,
if I'm being a little
one little.
We are shit.
That's true.
Look, I don't
true,
want to. I don't want to.
But like, I mean, we're not.
We actually survived one injury last game. So
who's playing the minutes they're playing?
Nobody.
Nobody. No way.
3 of their top 5 are.
I don't think anybody's even
top
allowed
5 of.
You feel me? But hey, we got Iron Man. We got Iron Man for sure. So
now
we'll see.
Top 4, on the other hand,
yeah,
that's
top
realistic.
Top
that's
4.
easily. That's realistic.
I mean, I
easily
realistic.
I
don't think it's easily realistic. But I think we very well could end up being 4.
Look, this
yeah, that could be
top 4.
Yeah.
Top 4 is possible.
Yeah, home court. It'll be home
if
court
Orlando
for the era.
continues
for the
to be
first
hurt.
time.
Yeah, but you also have the Bucks on you too. They're not too far behind us, so it's
Yeah.
not. I'm not gonna say it's not impossible, but
And
let's accept top 6.
Orlando's hurt
we'll
right
see.
now.
I think it's time. I think you know what I think it's time for. I think it's time to get into those predictions.
All right, let me.
Those are the teams behind us probably have no chance of catching us. I don't know.
Let me give my win total prediction. I'm gonna say 48 wins.
Ooh,
I think 48. I think
you know what? And since this is on air, if we get 48 wins and we get top 4 seed, I'm gonna make it more realistic. I will give you $100.
Oh boy! Ooh.
That's a crazy bet.
Oh, yeah, that's gonna be
win,
crazy.
That's why.
Yeah,
they gotta go 30-19 for that.
I mean, let's.
Look, 48. It has to be 48 wins and top 4.
You said they have to go.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not taking the bet, but it's a good bet.
Yeah, I'm taking it. Let's go. Come on.
I mean, if you
ain't doing it, I think they can do it. They've been playing really well lately.
48 wins.
Your last dollar.
They've been playing really well.
I mean, why not? I mean, I wouldn't take it.
Have some fun.
It's a good bet. It's a good bet.
I wouldn't do it personally.
Yeah.
You already said yes. So.
You're not true believers like me. You're not a true believer.
That's good.
I mean,
believer has nothing to do with it.
I'm a believer.
Has nothing to do with it.
It's just practicality right now.
Yeah.
You just you don't have hope.
But I will say you are drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, Chris. What
Fight.
what would change while we're here? As you're the team pessimist, what would it take for you to start to believe in something like that?
Start to believe
In something like that, just 48 win season.
a lot of shooting
A
from
lot of shooting.
Dyson and
okay.
Zachary.
Okay.
I mean,
Honestly,
to be fair,
I
if
think it
Trey
would just
Young
be
just
Ricochet.
just goes Night King the rest of the season, he can always do crazy things. They play defense now, but that's a lot to ask. There's a lot being asked of three guys to score a lot on this team right now. And I mean, they're defending at a pretty high level, so they're going to win some games. I think they probably will end up with a winning record. But man, they have to score.
I mean, if Bogey's healthy and let's say Ricochet starts shooting at like
we're 33 games in,
that's two Fs right there.
Yeah.
I mean,
it is
50,
too.
I mean, everything could go right. Hey, look, I do not disagree.
Everything could easily go right, like
easily.
Everything. You know, I mean, it's anything can happen. Anything is possible.
Maybe this is our year.
Is possible.
We don't know. Exactly.
Anything is possible. But hey, they're much closer to 47 wins than I thought they would be at the beginning of the season. So I thought I would be roasting Leon on that by now, but no. That's honestly probably the pace they're kind of on.
Dungeon, maybe. They're on the 49. They're on the 49 win pace. I don't expect that to hold.
Yeah, it's a little early.
Said 49.
That's what
it's looking up pretty good. Save that $100.
Well,
Marco.
and if you wait until we're 33 games in, look at the pace they're on, and then predict that they're going to win that many games, I don't know if you're going out on a limb. Okay. I think they're going to win them out of. Come on.
I mean, hey, look, everything. A lot of people were like early on were saying Hawks are doing it again, blah blah blah. But now it's looking up. That's all I'm saying. It's looking up, and hopefully they continue to play like this, and hopefully we can stay healthy throughout the season to have a decent playoff run and not be in the play-in for once.
I definitely want to be healthy, and I want the Knicks, baby. I don't know that we're going to be able to get there. We have to fall back to the 60 most likely.
Look,
I do want the Knicks.
Blake want Orlando.
I want to see how we look like against Orlando.
I don't
first.
want Orlando
because
Orlando doesn't win by their offense. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
that's going to be an ugly series. Oh my god, this is going to be like the beginning of that Raptors game for like 7 games.
Just turnover.
Both teams turning it over down the floor, missing every shot. Gross. But yeah, I want the Knicks. I just want to beat the Knicks in the first round, and then we can get swept in round 2. I don't even care. Like, I just want to beat the Knicks. That's all I want. I just want to make another group of 6-year-olds Trey Young and go home crying. That's all I want. We got to traumatize another high school class.
But
wow.
Let's go ahead and talk about this. Let's talk about the first week of this Western road trip. So we got 3 games. It's Denver, Los Angeles, and the Clippers. So it's all on the road. So
and that Lakers and Clippers is back to back too.
Yep, first back to back of the year already.
Hawks probably go 2-1. I'll go first on this. Denver's gonna be tough, bro. That's altitude.
Yeah, Denver's always gonna be tough.
But Denver also isn't good right now. But they have Jokic and he's huge, and that could be a problem.
I mean, so I think Denver's playing all right.
I could see us losing that one, but I could see you beat both LA teams. They don't really scare me, so I'll say 2-1.
I'll go next. I think it's gonna be. Do I want to say this?
I want to say it too. I'm not gonna lie.
This is really difficult, honestly, because I see a world where we could literally go either 1 or 3, 1, 2, or I don't know. Dang, this is hard. I may need to think about this for.
You want some time?
Yeah,
I got us going 3-0. I got us going 3-0.
Yeah, I literally could see that future.
3-0.
Like, honest to God.
I think we have very favorable matchups like in the matchups that matter. I think we have favorable matchups in the next 3 games. I think the Lakers are just old, and I don't think they have enough wings for our wings. I think that it's going to be a different game when Jalen plays against Denver, even though it is on the road, and it will not like it. It's it's starting to feel like one of those stretches for Trey right now.
Yeah, it
So
is. He's
it's
going
starting
on.
to feel like one of those stretches. We'll see,
Yeah,
but it's starting to feel like one of those. So if
Yeah.
him and I mean, like Aaron Gordon's a good defender. Don't get me wrong, but it's just gonna be. It's just gonna if we can get it'll be a good enough stops game if they can score enough. Is the thing. It'll be like a 120, 130 something game. And with the Clippers, the biggest thing that's keeping them in games and helping them win games is the fact that they have a behemoth in the middle who really rebounds. And Zoo and Clint have had some of those matchups where Zoo will be 2, 3 rebounds under his average because Clint knows what he's doing on the boards. Um, so that's just one matchup in that game. Obviously, they got the defense. If Dyson's back for this road trip, I think we go 3-0.
Yeah, he was.
I,
He's back.
yeah.
He's back.
I think
I
we're going 3-0.
yeah. You know what? I'm gonna say I'm thinking 3-0 too, because like
We could easily not. Like 2-1 is probably more realistic.
yeah,
I
because
just if I'm predicting it, I'm going 3-0.
I'm honestly I think I'm gonna go 3-0 too. Yeah, because
Hey man, no, that's very optimistic.
I know that. Yeah,
Look, I'm gonna say 2-1. Simply because Jokic just gives us so many problems that
and we're playing Denver at home.
it's
That's
hard
gonna
to
be the
stop.
real tricky
Hard to
thing.
stop them. Lakers, I'm not really too worried about. Even though the game we played with them was close, and
First
LeBron,
good
happy
game.
birthday, LeBron, by the way. Happy birthday. Um,
You know,
LeBron,
Ron Brown old behind off the floor. He gonna
yeah,
have to buy a new foot again. He gonna fly out to Germany.
you want to win that game simply for draft pick reasons. So I feel like
Yeah,
we can, or that game is going to be close regardless, and I feel like we could win. Clippers, Norman Powell and Harden have been on a tear, kinda. So got to see, but I still feel like we could beat them. I feel like we actually match up with them pretty good. So yeah, I'm gonna say 2-1 and go from there. Yeah, that's my final prediction. We go 3-0 though. I will give that to y'all. We'll say that.
if we go
Man,
3-0,
I
I
think
think
Joker might give us like a 50-point triple double, bro.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
feeling
that
it.
might be
He's feeling it
nasty.
right now. He's
Hey,
feeling
look,
it.
he can do all that, but if we win that game, negates
It's
it.
gonna be tough.
man. If we literally
That's
go,
true, but like you got to realize like that. Who did they play tonight? That was
uh,
in the game the whole game until
Yeah.
like
Utah.
Kessler.
They beat him by 11.
yeah, they beat them by 11, but like I was keeping up with the game, and it's not one of those they were beating them by 30 and lost, and only beat them by 11. They had to pull away later in the game, and that's not a good team.
Hey, but I mean, the Jazz. Never mind. Let's continue.
What were you about to say?
I was gonna be immature. Let's just continue.
So I'm tanking.
Oh, but
You ever seen 18, the live action 18, where he start flying the tank?
oh my.
I've seen that movie. I don't remember that. Jeez.
Oh, come on. Okay, you got to
It
watch
was
it
a long
again.
time. That's an old movie at this point.
No. Well, I mean,
The new 18 one was that like 2008. Like
that was a
15
good
years
movie
ago.
though. I like that movie. Dude
That
flew.
was like right after the first Hangover.
But to end this off, we are gonna be
2010,
talking.
by the way. Sorry.
2010 movies are not
13.
old.
Nostalgia for me.
2013 is
That's
not
nostalgia.
old.
Yeah,
That's
sounds
okay.
all right.
But we're gonna end this off with one question. What is the most surprising thing to you about the Hawks this year? And what is the most disappointing thing to you about the Hawks this year? So I'll start with you, Leon. Go ahead.
The most pleasant surprise has been and it's been DeAndre Hunter. Like I can't sit here and say it's been anything else. It just they've optimized his role. I thought he was going to have a career year, but I was thinking, slight uptick, 17 probably. I mean, he did everything that I thought he was going to do as far as getting more shots at the rim. But like, I'm not that I thought he was going to do that. We've needed him to do for years. Finish through contact at the rim, take more threes, like get downhill, block a couple more shots, get a couple more steals. But a lot of that is as a result of being, as Chris always says, move down the ladder on the defensive scouting report, so to speak. So he gets to play the passing lanes while somebody else disrupts. And that's how you get a little bit more steals. He's just staying fresher, obviously coming off the bench, and offensively, I mean, it's barbecue chicken against a lot of third wings on NBA teams. So and guards. I mean, kills the Knicks because Deuce McBride can't guard him, and who else? I mean, Brunson can't guard him. Josh Hart really can't guard him anymore. He's a grown man. So shout out to DeAndre Hunter. The most disappointing thing I think has been the offense. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't think the offense was gonna be as bad as it was earlier in the season. However, they're trending in the right direction. Probably, probably still not gonna, probably still not gonna finish top 10. Just don't have enough shooting, unless again, like Chris said earlier, Dyson and Zach just become, you know, league average or better shooters on the volume that they're currently taking. So that's probably not going to happen over the next 50 or so games. So yeah, that's it. What about you, Marco?
Um, Most shocking thing for the Hawks this year, or whatever.
The
Most
most
Um,
pleasant
surprised.
surprise
Yeah.
and the most what's your I don't even know what you call it.
Most fun surprise is
The worst surprise.
um I guess us really just being a complete team on both sides. That was a surprise. That was a surprise. We've always been a top offense and bottom feeder defense, like actual bottom feeder defense. The disappointment so far. I don't think I'm really disappointed in anything so far. I think, well, let me not say that. I will say our shooting has gone down a bit, but that isn't really a disappointment thing to me. I feel so. I'm Yeah, that's all I can say is something positive about it right now. I ain't really too mad at anything else.
Uh,
Well, yeah, you can go ahead. Sure.
oh, okay. Obviously, I'm gonna agree with you, Leon, and say like the most surprising thing to me is DeAndre Hunter is playing so well. Like he's the second leading scorer of the team right now. If you told me that he was gonna be a second leading scorer of the team, I would think you're crazy. But like he has improved so much, and this is gonna be like the craziest hot take in the world, but I would not be surprised if like some coaches decided to just put him in the All-Star game. Now, that sounds absolutely insane, but I think he has a pretty decent reputation among like coaches and players, and it's like he's made this big jump over these last few years, and it's like he could win six man of the year. Like it's crazy.
All I'm gonna say is, I don't mean to cut you off. All I'm gonna say
Not enough
is,
spots.
if that year, the year Andrew Wiggins made All Star recently when he shouldn't have, Dre has a chance. That's all I'm gonna say.
Exactly. Like
Let's see. So,
they were the first seed, but I'm like any like we said earlier, like anything can happen. Like I don't know, like but my
he is
most
on a
this
heater.
yeah he is. He's been on a big heater for the past month, but the most disappointing thing for me is Bogey not basically playing for this whole year. I mean, like he has been a really important part of this team, especially shooting. And I feel like if he was actually healthy, then the offense would be like a lot better. And you know, we probably win a few more games this year, but it's just disappointing to see him get injured again after he has been healthy for like a year and a half. And I'm just hoping this is not the start of like some downward spiral for him. You can go ahead, Chris. You got the last answer for the podcast for this
Well,
year.
save the best for last. That's good radio.
Don't know
My
about that.
my
Go
my my
ahead.
pleasant surprise, probably Dyson Daniels on a quest to rewrite the steals record books. He's definitely gonna have the Hawks record at this rate. And deflections, I think that one's even crazier. I think he might double the record, whatever that is. That's just his defensive activity has just been on another planet. It's been such a good hit for the Hawks. And on that note, I could honestly easily say the DeJounte trade was my most pleasant surprise, but yeah, I honestly kind of expected that. Yeah. But no, the thing that I was probably most disappointed with, I honestly almost said Onyeka, but he's played well. I just kind of was hoping he would take that starting job, but I'll probably go with Zach's shooting. I was hoping that would be just a little bit better. It's been a little, uh, the floor has been a little lower than I was expecting there. I mean, his play overall has been fine. It's funny because I'm not even sure like shooting's going to be the thing he's best at in the NBA when all is said and done. But yeah, that was a little disappointing just because they were banking on that a lot. The roster construction, what it's set up. I don't think you were expecting Dyson to suddenly become a shooter when he hadn't been for 2 years. But Zach coming in, I think they were expecting a little bit more on that end, right? But still early. He's got 50 games. And to Leon's note, I mean, they could hit a stride at some point in this. That they have more games left than they've played. So hopefully, whatever they're working on, because we know they're hard workers. We assume they're working on something. At any moment, that thing could click and the three start dropping. So that's the hope. The offense has honestly been good without it. Surprisingly, but I mean that's Trae Young. I think a lot of that and Jalen Johnson. But yeah, so that's my thing. Dyson and Zach.
All right. I think that's a good point to end the podcast here. Does anyone have any final thoughts before we end? I'm gonna say it again because I like saying it. The last podcast of 2024 or episode.
I think you're
47.
crazy about thinking they're going to be top three team, but hey, you know,
Look,
anything is possible.
Any,
That's my
yeah,
final thought of 2024.
okay. Anyway, go ahead. Anyone else?
uh,
47.
I don't really have anything to say about the team, but shout out to Glenn Willis for having us on his things. I'm mad
On
I
his
couldn't be
yeah.
there, his
He-
Patreon. Yeah,
Yeah, you can
we
tell we're still new at this because we didn't talk about that at all.
yeah.
yeah. Shout out Glenn Willis for that, man. We do love the appreciation and recognition you have been giving us throughout this our journey as we traverse into the new year with more episodes. So
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Uh yeah, thank you so much
And
for
the
that.
Happy New Year. Go.
Thank you all so much for listening to this episode. We wish everyone a happy new year, and also thank you to my hosts, co-hosts, Leon, Marco, and Chris. Great co-hosts, great guys. Make sure to follow them on
Appreciate
Twitter.
you. Yeah.
And once again, thank you so much for listening. We're gonna have more episodes in the new year. It's gonna be awesome. Can't wait to see what happens this season. See you then. Happy New Year. Let's go, Hawks. See you then.
Oh.
Go.
Hard
Oh,
knock, hard
oh.
squad.
Go.